Hi, welcome to LawSchoolie.com. This is Evan Jones. Today we're looking at Preptest 62, Game 3. This game is a little bit of a break after a very tough Game 2. However, you do have to stay on top of things. It's got some pretty complicated rules to work with mentally. It just feels a little different than other games. So we'll see how that works, and let's take a look at the setup. So for the setup, we've got a conference on management with 5 talks in successive order: F, G, H, I, and L. And just because we're not using the 1, 2, 3 stuff doesn't mean this game changes in terms of dynamics at all. It's still just an ordering game and works like any other ordering game with 2 layers. And the reason we've got 2 layers is we have these 4 employees, okay, Q, R, S, and T, and each of them attends exactly 2 of the talks. So I write times 2 for that. And so we know that we've got 10 spots here and 8 pieces going into it. 2 of these will be left empty. So we can't say for sure these are full. We can't use like our squares to say for sure these are full, but mostly this will be full except for 2 empty spots. And no talk is attended by more than 2 of the employees, so this 2 represents a ceiling. You can't ever have 3 here, or 3 here, for example. So with that, you're ready to look at the rules specific to the game. Here we have Quigley is attending nor F nor H. So Quigley's out here. Just do your typical strikeout rule. Quigley, Quigley. And R is in neither G nor H. So same thing. R, R. Then our next rule, spivvy can never be with T. So we just do, using the LSAT trainer style, we do a strikeout, and like visually you should see that means you can never have S and T together in one of these blocks. So imagine that going in there, and that would be unacceptable. So S and T are struck out, and now we get to these funny rules, and I think this is what makes the game sort of complicated, because I'm unused to seeing this kind of rule exactly, so it just feels strange, this game, because of these rules. So let's look at it. Quigley attends the first talk that Tran attends. So let's see. Quigley. If you have T's first talk, so I labeled that T1, then you know Q is going in there. That operates as a block. So draw it visually as you'll see it in the actual game board here. Okay, and then we have a similar rule here. Spivvy attends the first talk that Rivera attends. So we've got S, then R1. And can we make any further inferences here? Well, T's first time necessitates Q's presence. So if we had T here, then you would have to, because that would be T's first time, obviously, it's the first spot. Then you'd have Q here as well, and that violates this strikeout rule. So you also cannot have T here. And if you want to, you could have T here, but if you did, it can't be the T1. So you could do like a little extra rule, T1 can't be there. I think visually that's just too confusing. You risk thinking that T can never go in H. So I wouldn't bother with that. But definitely put a T strikeout here. And at this point, that's all I can see. So I'm ready to move on to the rules. I'm ready to move on to the questions. Question 14 is an acceptability question. It's a little bit difficult because you just have a lot of information to process visually, but as usual, we're not going to mess with it. Just do the same technique you always do, which is taking your rules one at a time and seeing where they're violated. You'll have one left over. In this case, the correct answer is C. So let's move on to 15. 15 asks us what must be true if no one is in the H spot if no one goes that day to a conference talk. So drawing that out, you want to mark out an X, we'll slash out those spots so that you remember no one's in there. And this is where distribution becomes important, because we had 10 spots, right, for these 8 pieces, but now we've eliminated 2 of those. Every single remaining spot can be filled, well, has to be filled. So that allows us to make some pretty powerful inferences because of our not laws here. So I think early in the game I often redraw them in my mini diagrams just so I can help remember it better. QT can't go in F. Remember that was that key inference we made based on this rule. So that only leaves R and S for this first spot. So R and S, and we've taken care of that RS1. Whenever you make an inference, definitely check if you've answered the question already, what must be true. If we look at A, R attends F, yeah, that's required. So that leaves A as the right answer for this question. Never do more work than you have to. Once you've made this inference, check if it answers the question. Question 16 is kind of tricky because I'm looking at it and it seems like we don't have a whole lot of extra information that we can make this determination. We're asked, where could R and S go together? Well, it looks to me right away that, well, they can go anywhere that R can't go. So you can have like RS, RS, RS. Ideally, I'd like to avoid trying out all of those. So we already saw from question 1, from question 15, the prior question, right, that R and S could go here. So you can eliminate anything that doesn't contain feedback. That gets rid of C. And then you can also eliminate anything that contains goal sharing or handling. And that eliminates B. So with B and C gone, we're left to choose between all 3, F, I, L, or just F and L, and just F and I. I think the intuitive way to do this is to realize that there's no distinction between I and L. There's no meaningful distinction between them, so there's no possibility that the rules would interfere with putting R and S there. So just try to put R and S and L, for example, if you need to feel more comfortable about it. We could have RS in the first thing. Here we could have Q and T. Then here we could have, say, just T. And then Q and S. Oh, sorry, not S. We have just Q here, and then R and S in the back. Yeah, not the easiest thing to do visually, but it's fine. And then you should be able to see here that Q and S can just switch positions here. No reason why not. And, you know, that allows all these 3 possibilities, F, I, and L. So that's our correct answer is A, the one that lists those possibilities. Okay, so a bit of a time-consuming question, but if you keep your wits about you, it shouldn't be too hard to try things out quickly and come to the answer. 17 is the toughest question, I think, in the game. It asks us if Q is an L, then what can be false, and we're given a range of options. So put Q and L, and then add a slash so that you know nothing else can go in there. Where can we go from here? I'm looking at the R, and I'm seeing that that's pretty limited as to where R can still go. Two are already out, so you could have to put R in here and here. You have to use your 2 remaining R's. And then where you have R1, you're going to have S. And then at this point, I didn't really see any easy inferences to make from there, so I was hoping this kind of solved the question. And looking down, I'm seeing what can be false here. A, R, and F? No, we have to have R and F, right? We have to have that, so the A's gone. R attends I, that's required, so B is gone. Spivvy is in F, that's gone. And then I got to D, Spivvy attends handling people. Does that have to be true? That's not in my diagram, so I just want to see if I can get S somewhere else other than handling people, and that'll prove that that's the correct answer. It's something that can be false. I could put S up here, and then I have my Q and my T here, and then my remaining T goes in here, and I'm fine. Yeah, that's a perfectly good order, and Spivvy is not in handling people, so D is the correct answer. Spivvy attends handling people can be false. Very tough question. Just what I did, you might want to note that strategy, is I did the work that I could, and then I saw what I could eliminate with that work. And that at least got me most of the way. That at least got me most of the way towards answering the question. And then I only had to do one example to eliminate one of these two remaining, D and E. You know, it wouldn't have mattered which I tried, but I would have gotten to the answer quickly. So learn to use that mixed approach with doing the work you can and then going to the answer choices. 18 is fairly similar to 17. We've got this condition that R is the only employee that attends I. So put a cross off here. And again, there's a very tricky inference to make. And that's this. R looks like it only has these two remaining spots, but say you try to put R here for the second one. Well, what about this S and R rule? This first R would have to have S, and we know that that's not okay because that's slashed out there. So that leaves only one spot for R to go, and that's right here, and S will be alongside it. And are there any other inferences that we can make from this? Sometimes if you're having trouble remembering things, it helps to redraw your strikeout rules. So for me, I just redrew them, and I see, okay, Q only has two remaining spots where it can go now. And then the T is going to be here. So that's a lot of work. I'm really hoping that this can answer the question. So let's look at it. Which could be false? Q's in L? No, Q has to be back there in L, so cross off A. R attends F. No, that's required. B's gone. Spivvy's in F, required, so C's gone. T attends goal sharing. Yeah, that has to be true, so that's gone. That leaves us with E is the only thing that could be false, and it's the correct answer. T handles people. No, we could easily put T out here in L. So T does not have to take the handling people seminar. Okay, so that completes the game. Pretty quick solve if you can work with these rules well. Not an easy game by any means, but hopefully you're feeling pretty ready for this sort of thing at this point in your prep. Okay, let's look at game 4.